Over the last 4 years, I've been putting out inspirational videos and tutorials all about stained glass on social media. These have all been pre-recorded videos, and now we're taking that to the next level, and you, the creative community, can help me build it. I'm going to go out once a week live from my studio here in Leicestershire in the UK. I'll start with things like working with dipping pens, and I'll answer your questions as we go through the live stream, so you can ask anything you like about stained glass. So on the live stream, you'll have the option to type in your questions. It'll come up on the feed here, and I'll be able to answer it in real time. It's really exciting to be able to do this, and together we'll build this live stream into something that works for everybody. Well, let's do a live stream. Hello everyone, and welcome to today's live stream. It's the 17th of February 2026. How are you all? Hope you're well. Hope you've had a good weekend and are ready for this brand new week wherever you are in the world. Lots of people joining the chat. Great that you're joining us. I can see some wonderful familiar faces. Some people coming on from Facebook as well as YouTube. It's wonderful to see you all. Yeah, it's been a busy old day today. I've just got back from filming this chap here. If you know, you know. A little bit more about that later on in the stream. We had a great day today talking about all things glass. I've got a film to show you behind the scenes of what we were doing today, but I'm going to say hello to a few people on the stream. Welcome, welcome. First out the gates today is HM Fan 2010. Hello from Ohio, USA. Hello to you. Welcome on board. It's fantastic that you're joining us. You're first in the chat today. Brilliant to see you. And we've got Thunderwood Underwood also. Hello from Malmesbury, Wiltshire, UK. I'm actually on time for once. Fabulous. It's great to see you, Thunderwood Underwood. Welcome on board. Yeah, it's great that you're joining us today. Fabulous, fabulous. And David Elliot again from Suffolk. Hello, David. Welcome on board. Looking forward to meeting you in person very, very soon. David is coming on one of my master classes very soon. So yeah, really looking forward to meeting you in person, David. And thank you so much for joining us today on the live stream. It's brilliant that you're here. Absolutely brilliant. And Colin, channel member, good evening from the south of England. Good evening to you, Colin, as well. How are you? I hope you're well. Do tell us your news if you're in chat today, guys. Come and say hello. Let us know what you've been up to. Have you been up to anything interesting over the last weekend? Are you working on a project? Are you struggling with some painting issues or some design issues, some stained glass things that you want to bounce around this wonderful creative community? We are an international creative community of fellow creatives who are interested and excited in all things stained glass. So we're here to geek out on glass together for the next hour, maybe even an hour and a half, just depending on how it's going. So I really feed off of your enthusiasm as well, guys. So, you know, ask me questions, and we haven't really got a demonstration to show you so much as just some samples of some beautiful glass on the light table here, which I'll get to in a minute, plus a film to show you, which I've been working on for the last couple of days with an amazing group of very talented people. More about that later on in the stream. But do ask your questions, say hello, jump onto the chat and make yourself known to this wonderful creative community. Anthony, hello from Wimbledon, NC, where is that? NC. Do tell me exactly where that is. Anthony, I'm not sure exactly where that is. But yeah, Wimlington, welcome, and you're a channel member as well. Anthony, I should really know exactly where you are, but I don't know what NC stands for. I'm probably being really stupid. It's been a long day and I can't think of what NC stands for, but do tell me in the chat exactly what that stands for. And Ride Forth Singing from Ireland. Oh no, I'm ahead of myself. Ride Forth Singing. It's a cold minus 29 degrees centigrade in Alberta. My goodness, that does sound incredibly cold. Incredibly cold. Minus 29 degrees centigrade. I hope you're toasty and warm and snuggled up somewhere nice next to a log fire or somewhere nice and warm. Welcome, Ride Forth Singing. Fantastic that you're here, especially as a channel member. Really, really appreciate all the channel members that are joining in today. It is brilliant to see you all. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. And Original Pals, good evening, everybody. Hi there. Hi to you too. Welcome. Are you still in Switzerland? I know you said you were in Switzerland a few weeks ago. I don't know whether you were visiting Switzerland, whether you reside in Switzerland. Original Pals, do tell us which part of the world you are. I kind of think in my tiny little brain that it's Switzerland, but again, I could be completely wrong about that. Joanne Stevens, 1061. Hello from Surprise, Arizona. Wonderful to see you, Joanne. It's great that you're joining us from Arizona today. How is it for you? I hope it's not minus 29 degrees centigrade. I'm sure it's not. What's the temperature like for you in Arizona? And welcome, welcome. Thank you so much for joining us today. And Petri is here. Evening all. Evening, Petri. Welcome on board. How are you? Very much looking forward to coming down to see you sometime very, very soon. Yeah, thank you, Petri, for jumping onto the stream today. It's wonderful that you're here. It's great to see so many people are joining in who are regulars on the stream. Really, really appreciate it. I can't do this without you guys. You know, we do this together. We're making this amazing creative community together, one step at a time, you know, and it's the fact that you guys show up for this live stream and contribute in the chat and sort of talk to one another and introduce yourselves through the chat is absolutely brilliant. I love it. Thank you so much for, you know, turning up to these live streams. It means the world to me. Underwood 4807. I'm not sure I understand the difference between glass stains, glass paints, glass enamels. Complete novice to glass painting. Help! Question mark, exclamation mark. What a great question. Underwood, yeah, that is a great question. So there are three sort of basic paints that we use to paint onto the surface of glass, and all of them get fired in the kiln, and they get fired on at a high temperature, somewhere between about 580 degrees centigrade all the way up to about 650, maybe even 660 degrees centigrade, depending on which types of paints or stains or enamels you're using. So let's start with glass stains. That was the first in your question. So stains are normally yellow stains or orange stains. Now that's a specific type of paint that was developed for glass in about 1308 or 1309. Before that period, painting on glass happened, but they weren't using silver stains. Silver stains are a silver salt, so that's silver chloride or silver nitrate. And basically that's a white powder that when you mix it up with some carrying agents like pipe clay, like yellow ochre pipe clay, and some ground down glass, and making it into a kind of a paste mixture that you can mix with water, or you can mix with vinegar, or you can mix with oils like clove oil, lavender. It usually has a gum added to it, like a gamboge gum as well. That can be painted onto the surface of the glass, and it's a kind of like a yellowy orangey color to start with. It's like a very light brown color. But when that gets fired in the kiln, there's a chemical reaction that happens with the silver in the paint, and there's an ion exchange, which I don't pretend to understand, between the oxygen molecules in the glass and the silver molecules in the paint. The upside of all of that, me sounding as if I know what I'm talking about in terms of chemistry, which I don't, is that it stains the glass a yellow color. So the silver nitrate or silver chloride really works to stain glass a yellow color, and it creates from a very pale lemony yellow all the way through to a really rich kind of orangey color, almost bordering on a kind of like a bronzy orangey kind of reddy color almost. That's your silver stains. So they are made of silver chloride. Silver, it's a silver-based paint basically, and it does one thing: it stains the glass yellow. So different colored glasses will react differently to that silver stain. So, for example, if you were to paint yellow silver stain onto blue glass, it would make a green color. So the blue plus the yellow of the silver stain creates a green color. So yellow silver stain is a really versatile stain. It's not really a paint, it's a stain. Moving on to the paints are iron oxide based. Now, iron oxide is basically rust. It's basically ground down rust, ground down to a really, really fine powder, and then glass, really powdery glass is added to that, plus some other heavy metals like lead and cadmium and things like that. And again, that is painted onto the surface of the glass. You can mix it with water, you can mix it with vinegar, you can mix it with oils like, again, clove oil or lavender oil. Normally you would add a gum, like a binding gum to it. The medievalists used to add sugar to their paint to make it stick to the surface of the glass, or they'd add honey to it, or they'd add wine to it, or even urine could be added to it. And once that paint, that iron oxide paint, is painted onto the glass, it's fired in the kiln, usually at a little bit of a higher temperature than the yellow silver stain, normally about 650 degrees centigrade. And that fuses the paint, the iron oxide, which is, remember, is just like iron filings, onto the surface of the glass to make it absolutely permanent. And it is fade resistant. It doesn't change color. If it's done properly, it should last for centuries and centuries. That's your normal paints. Now, the paints come in different colors, not very many colors, like blacks and chocolatey browns and reddy browns and gray greens. So that's your paints, that's your glass paints made of an iron oxide. Your enamels, that's the third type of paint. Now, the enamels were developed in the 1500s as a way of solving the problem of colored glass getting so expensive to paint on. What they ended up doing at that period was painting onto clear glass, because the colored blues and the reds and the yellows, the pot metal colors, were becoming so prohibitively expensive to paint on. So some bright spark decided, what if we grind down bits of our blue glass into a powder and paint that onto the surface of the glass and then fire it in the kiln? And that's how they developed enamels. So we have a variety of different enamels. They're in quite short supply just at the moment, but there's more coming on stream soon. Enamels are essentially ground down colored glass made into a fine powder and then mixed with a medium like a water or an oil, again clove oil or lavender oil, that kind of thing, and painted onto the surface of the glass. And it's just basically glass ground down to a fine powder. Once that gets fired in the kiln, again at about 650 degrees centigrade, what happens is the ground down glass fuses onto the base glass to create enamel colors. So that essentially, Thunderwood Underwood, are your three categorizations of paints. Your yellow silver stains, which are silver salt, silver nitrate, silver chloride. Your regular paints, which are the blacks and browns, which are iron oxide. And your enamels, which are ground down colored glass. And those are the three different paint types that we have at our disposal. Hopefully that does that clarify things for you, Thunderwood Underwood. Hopefully it does. Jerry Z, another channel member. Hello, Jerry. Welcome. Fantastic to see you on the live stream today. I hope you're well. How are you getting on with the online course? I hope you're enjoying it. It was wonderful to connect with you on our live students live stream at the beginning of this month. It was wonderful to connect with you in real time and talk to you there. I hope you're getting on well with the course. Do let us know how things are. Melanie is here. Hi, Mel. Hi, Derek. Made it to the live one. Welcome on board, Melanie. It's great to see you. How are you doing? How are you getting on with your own course development? I know we were talking a few weeks ago, Mel, about you developing your own courses. How is that going? I hope you're managing to make progress with that, taking stained glass out into the rural communities, which sounded like a fantastic thing to do. And I am curious. I am interested to know how that's developing. So do jump onto the chat and do update us and let us know how things are going with you, Mel. Brian is here, St. Louis, Missouri area. Brian, hello, welcome on board. Thank you so much, Brian, for joining us today. It's great to see you, another channel member. Thank you again for all of the support you're giving me, Brian, and giving the channel. It's really, really appreciated. Benny, back again this week from Central Illinois. Benny Hume Photography. Hi, Benny. How you doing? I hope you're well. It's great to see you. Central Illinois. How marvelous. You can see, guys, we have this amazing international community of fellow creatives. Great shop, lovely experience. Yeah, I'm not quite sure. I'm jumping into a conversation. I'm not exactly sure what that part is. Adam says, greetings from my icy shanty on Lake Erie. My goodness, Adam and Angie, greetings from my ice shanty on Lake Erie. Welcome, Adam. I'm very curious to know more about your ice shanty on Lake Erie. Do tell us more, Adam, when you get the chance. Yeah, you're joining us on Facebook. How fantastic. I can see you're joining us on Facebook today, along with Melissa. Hi from Florida, USA. Melissa Paulette, great to see you. Welcome. Thank you so much for joining us on Facebook. We have been doing this live stream for quite a few months on YouTube, and we've recently started adding Facebook to that, and it's just great that you guys are joining us on Facebook as well. We have over 40,000 subscribers on Facebook, which is, I want to, give you guys some love too. It's not just, I really love my YouTube community, but we have a good community on Facebook as well. So Melissa, thank you so much for being part of the live stream today on Facebook. You're really welcome. Ask questions, jump onto the chat, say hello. We're a friendly bunch. It'd be great to know more about your interest and love for stained glass as well. Jerry Z says, I have a question. Finding the tin side of the glass, did you say that a UV torch to see the milky side? Thanks, I'm not going to be on long today. Yeah, Jerry Z, you need a UV torch. So you can get them online on Amazon and places like that. It's kind of what's called sometimes black light, but basically essentially a UV light. Same kind of lights that they use to kind of scan dollars and currency to make sure that it's real. And what happens is you need to kind of go into quite a dimly lit room, like a downstairs toilet or something like that. Take your glass and your UV light and shine the UV light across the surface of the glass. And the cloudier side, the milky cloudy side, usually indicates it's the tin side of float glass. Turn the glass over and shine the light on the other side. You might find that it's slightly less milky and less cloudy. So yeah, you're absolutely right, Jerry Z. A UV light or a UV torch is the best way to identify the tin side from the non-tin side of float glass. And of course, the only type of glass that has a tin side and a non-tin side is float glass. So rolled cathedral glasses like your Kokomos and your Wismax and your English antiques, your handmade cylinder glasses, none of those types of glasses have a tin side and a non-tin side. It is only clear window float glass. And it's important to know it for certain things like using copper stains or using ruby stains. Getting to know what the tin side is going to be important. Colin says, a few months ago, a member mentioned obtaining float glass cheaply in the UK. Can anyone remember where this was or advise the best place to purchase as practice pieces? So, Colin, the easiest thing to do is to try either a picture framers, a local picture framers, or a local glazier. Sometimes they have scrap glass. They have what's called cullet which is maybe glass that they're even putting into the skip, you might be able to fish out some pieces of clear float glass. But the two main places are glaziers, regular kind of traditional glaziers. Look up Yellow Pages, but we don't have Yellow Pages anymore, do we? You have to look up online and find out your nearest glazier. Or a picture framer. Picture framers tend to use 2mm picture framing glass, which can be useful. Some UV glasses are good as well, but other UV glasses aren't so good that have special coatings on them. But usually a regular glazier is your best bet. Crowman 5134, what a great name. Hello from the Sunshine Coast. Crowman, welcome. Fantastic that you're joining us from the Sunshine Coast. You're really welcome. Thank you so much for being part of this stream today. And Vaughn says, 2042, hi, I'm Vaughn. Only my second time, but back again. Very excited. I've just got my first commission to make a green and black Porsche racing car. Good grief. I'm taking it, Vaughn, that this is a green and black Porsche racing car made of stained glass. My very first commission. That is absolutely brilliant. It's always fantastic, isn't it, to get your first kind of paying commission. I think we all remember when we first got our very first paying job. It's always a big thing. You always feel there's a little bit of imposter syndrome. Well, there certainly was with me when I first started out, thinking, goodness me, can I really charge for making stained glass? I'm only just learning, kind of thing. But we often many of us have imposter syndrome when we're starting out. But yeah, congratulations, Vaughn, on getting your first commission to make a green and black Porsche racing car. GDBR2630 says, I tried to make some dippable ink, one with black and the other with bister brown. It seems like I mixed a lot of enamel, but the amount of ink is pretty small in each pot. Should I add clove oil and lavender oil? Yeah. So essentially, if you're doing, I'm presuming JDBR 2630 that you are using or following the recipe that I suggest on my YouTube channel and Facebook and places like that, which is 2 parts clove oil to 1 part lavender oil. Double the quantity of clove oil to lavender oil mixed up with your chosen paint so that it is a nice kind of liquidy consistency. You have to keep mixing it and agitating it regularly. You don't need a massive amount, to be honest. I mean, I've got these little jars this kind of size, and probably the bottom centimeter at most has got ink in it. And once you tip your jar on the side, you can kind of pop your nib in and just gather up a little bit of ink into your dipping pen nib. And it does last a long time. So if you're finding that the ink is difficult to reach within the pot, that would suggest that you need to add a little bit more oil to the mixture. If it then becomes too thin and the line becomes too greasy and translucent, then that would indicate that you need to add a little bit more paint as well. It does take a bit of tinkering, to be honest. I do have a sort of a recipe ingredient that I put out online, which I think is, from memory, is 10 milliliters of paint, 10 milliliters of clove oil, 5 milliliters of lavender oil. And that's a general kind of quantity that is getting you close to being right. You might still have to tinker with it a little bit to get it to really run properly from your pen. But yeah, that is the proportions that you need to work with. Anthony says North. Oh, of course. Anthony, what an idiot I am. I do apologize. North Carolina, of course it is. Welcome, Anthony, from North Carolina. I do apologize for not getting that. I should have got that. YouTube just froze for me. Goodness me, I don't know why that is. Let me check on my YouTube channel. Is it working? I can see that the stream looks as if it's working. I am going to check. It says here, stream is healthy. Excellent is what it's saying. There doesn't seem to be any problems at the moment, but I'll keep an eye out on that. So yeah, if there are any glitches, we do get these gremlins every now and again. David, I'm really sorry to hear that YouTube has frozen. So maybe refresh your page or refresh your browser. It might be that. You can always pop over to Facebook if you're on Facebook, David. We're broadcasting exactly the same broadcast on Facebook as we are on... yeah, well done, David. You're going over to Facebook. Okay. I wonder why that is. I don't quite understand. You're not the first person to say that. I think a couple of streams ago we had freezing parts, or it went all white for some people on YouTube for some bizarre reason, which I don't really understand. Yeah, Brian, North Carolina. I should have got that as North Carolina, but I didn't. Yeah. Now, I reside in Switzerland. Original pals. Yeah, fantastic. I thought you did. Welcome from wonderful Switzerland. It's great that you're here. And Vina Patel, hello Vina. Welcome. It's great to see you again. Thank you so much for joining us again from Facebook. It's great you're here. It really is. So face and demo screen. Look at this, guys. This is a little clue as to what we're going to be talking about a little while. It is colored handmade glass, and this, which I showed at the beginning of the broadcast, is a little device. Do you know what it's called? It's called a flip-flop. It's made out of a single piece of glass, and it was made for me by Elliot Walker, the amazing glass artist, glass blower, glass sculptor, Elliot Walker. And I was filming with him yesterday and today with a couple of talented documentary filmmakers, David and Lucia, and I've got a little video, behind the scenes video, to play for you in a little bit, just giving you some backstory as to what we're doing at the moment. But this, listen to this. There's a little glass membrane here. It's a single piece of glass, and it's a little tight drum, and if you push it, blow in it, not too hard because you can bust it, you get these amazing sounds. Yeah. So this is apparently a test that apprentice glass blowers were given. This is Elliot was telling me about it. So to be able to make one of these little flip-flops and to have it working was a kind of like a rite of passage. And if you could blow a flip-flop like this out of a single piece of glass, the glass blowers knew that you were ready to progress in your learning of glass blowing. Isn't that amazing? So these pieces of glass are actually from English Antique. These are the tops of glass that has been made by English Antique. Now, English Antique is not making handmade sheet glass anymore. They are still making roundels, but they're not making sheet glass. But I thought I would introduce this video for you guys in a moment by showing you these amazing. Now, I have showed these before, but they're aren't they amazing? Handmade antique glass. There is really nothing to beat it. It's just the most beautiful glass around, isn't it? Absolutely fantastic. So what is this documentary? So this documentary, I was approached by a couple of documentary filmmakers 2 or 3 months ago, and they said, look, we've been following you. David Jack Fenton, who comes onto the live stream from time to time, he's probably driving home tonight because we spent the day together today and yesterday filming with Elliot. They said, look, you know, we would love to make a documentary film all about this amazing creative community and this push to inspire the next generation of fellow creatives to use stained glass in interesting and exciting ways. And David has been following my YouTube channel for a long time, and Lucia has also got her own YouTube channel called Artist Actuality, which is a documentary channel interviewing lots of different artists. And I would really strongly encourage you to follow Lucia's channel, Artist Actuality, on YouTube. I'll put a little link to it in a moment. And they decided they wanted to kind of film the whole process of kind of encouraging that next generation that we're all doing collectively. I mean, we are collectively as an international group of fellow creatives helping that process. We're kind of putting the word out to, as you know, to the wider world that handmade stained glass matters, that it is important, and it can't be allowed to just disappear. It's not being taught in art schools to the same extent anymore. It's very hard to get a roadmap if you want to learn to do stained glass by going to a studio. It's very hard to get places in studios. There are a few bursaries and scholarships available. So we're kind of moving all of this teaching online and doing an awful lot of kind of free tutorials and videos on my YouTube channel to try and encourage people to adopt stained glass and start using stained glass in their creative practice. So I was delighted when David and Lucia decided they wanted to make this documentary. So I'm going to play you this video in a second, which basically it's essentially a behind the scenes of filming with Elliot Walker. Now, if you know Elliot Walker, you'll know he's a first-class glass sculptor, glass blower. He won Series 2 of Blown Away, the Netflix series for glass blowers. A really great guy, very charismatic, full of life, a great communicator. And his partner, Bethany Woods, who runs Blowfish Glass over in Stourbridge, very talented couple, promoting stained glass. And Bethany has been featured in a Disney cartoon film. They've been filmed by Google, and you know they're a thing. You know, they are definitely a thing, and they're very talented. And I got involved with working with Elliot when he decided to make handmade sheet glass again here in the UK, because you may know or you may not know, glass blowing, stained glass is on the endangered list. We're just not, we are on the endangered list of crafts here in the UK. So Elliot has been getting quite a lot of funding and grant applications to kind of learn how to do this really difficult process of making glass do the most difficult thing that you can do with it, which is to make it thin, flat, and completely transparent. Glass tends to work being blown into shapes like this. According to Elliot, he says it's easier to do this kind of thing than it is to try and encourage glass to become flat and uniformly sort of 3 millimeters or 4 millimeters thick. And he's using all of his talents to recreate handmade antique glass again. So basically, part of this documentary is filming here with me in my studio. So David and Lucia have been at my studio filming with me. They've also been filming me teaching over at Ely Stained Glass Museum. They have interviewed Dr. Jasmine Allen, the curator at Ely Stained Glass Museum. They've been interviewing Elliot, and they're also interviewing other glass artists as well to try and build up a picture of this creative community of stained glass makers here basically in the UK who are promoting stained glass, promoting glass painting, glass cutting, handmade, using glass in interesting and exciting ways. So let me run this video for you now. It's about 30 minutes long. It's a little bit of a behind the scenes. I do geek out a little bit on the kit that they've got because I'm interested in the cameras and you're going to see drones flying in the sky. You're going to see amazing little cameras that fit in your pocket. We're going to be talking with Elliot about the challenges, the successes and the failures in real time of actually making sheet glass. So let me run this for you now. As I say, it lasts for about 13 minutes or so. Then we'll come back and we'll answer some more of your questions. Here we go. Hello, setting off this morning to go over to Stourbridge to meet up with Elliot Walker, the amazing glass blower, to spend a day with him and a documentary team where we are making a documentary all about the preservation of this wonderful craft of stained glass. So come and join us on this amazing journey. We're actually making this section as part of a larger section of work that two amazing filmmakers are putting together, showing the journey that we're going through to try and conserve this amazing stained glass world that we all live in. So I thought I'd take you along for the journey today. You can meet the team. You'll meet David and Lucia, who together are putting this documentary together. This is their creation. They approached me several months ago and said, look, Derek, we really want to make a documentary about the type of work that you're doing to put this craft out into the public domain and to try and bring that next generation in. So they're interviewing a variety of different creatives who are working together. So the Stained Glass Museum over at Ely, Dr. Jasmine Allen, they had time spent with Jasmine talking about the work of the Ely Cathedral Stained Glass Museum, and we're now talking with Elliot Walker, who's making this amazing handmade sheet glass for all of us to kind of use and to sort of re-establish handmade sheet glass making here in the UK. And there are other glass artists as well that they're going to talk to as well, to kind of build up a picture for you. And hopefully later on this year, May, June time 2026, we'll have this piece of work to go out to you guys. So yeah, so come along today for the journey, get to meet the team, and do a little bit of background filming just to show you the process. Really looking forward to spending time with everybody. Come on, it's going to be fun. Hello.
You want to film this?
Yeah.
Are you actually? Oh my
Yeah,
God.
I'm flying a drone.
Incredible. So this is recording now?
Yep, it's recording now. And then if you look up, you'll see the drone.
Amazing.
All right. Should we land it on your roof?
Yes,
So-
please. So quiet.
There we go.
That is awesome. Absolutely awesome. Do you have to get a license to fly, or do you just kind of
You
like?
do. Here's my drone operator ID, which you have to display on your drone
Wow.
if you are to fly it properly.
Fantastic. That's awesome.
Great.
What's it called? What's it?
This is a DJI Mini 3.
Mini 3.
Yeah,
So quiet.
and I would recommend because it can be a lot of fun.
Yeah. In 4K as well, is it?
Yeah, 4K.
Yeah. Absolutely wonderful.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Ready?
Good morning. How are you?
I'm good. Very
All good.
excited.
Yeah, me
For the
too.
heat.
Yeah, for the warmth. Yeah. So how was it yesterday, Lucia?
It was great.
Yeah.
We managed to get all the shots that we wanted.
Yeah.
Yeah. They look great, which is even more amazing. So very excited to share.
Show me this little device here. What is that? That's
So
like
that's
a spy camera.
Osmo Pocket,
Yeah.
which you can see. And we'll put that on your bonnet
Yeah.
and film you driving here.
Incredible.
So, yeah.
I've kind of read a
Very
little bit
handy.
about these, but I've never seen them in practice. They're so light, and so
Yeah.
you can just pop it in your pocket and
Very
film them.
handy, especially for content creators.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I get I don't know about you, but I get embarrassed about taking a camera out in public.
Yeah. So
You know,
this one is
It's so
definitely
discreet. Yeah.
a good device to have.
Yeah.
No one's
yeah.
gonna even notice.
Well, one of the things about small cameras and cameras in general is just putting people at ease,
Yeah.
because it is sometimes a challenge to put people at ease when you're filming.
Yeah. So Elliot, are you quite used to having film crews around?
Yeah, I mean, this is quite a nice session, really, because it's just 3 people.
Yeah.
You know, we have had some sessions where there's like a bigger team that is comfortable
Yeah.
in the space, really, and like bigger cameras than are comfortable, really. But this is nice, you know, handheld, sort of quite intimate and stuff is all right, really.
So
'Cause
how-
there's not a lot of space in here, really.
How big a team have you had here in the past?
Well, we did have like a team of 30. I mean, they weren't all
Seriously?
camera people, but there were lights rigged up all around the extraction system. They had lights rigged up over here. They had lights with like film to change the color of the place. And then Beth was doing quite a lot of the filming in the pitch black, just with these sort of moody lights, and just putting gathers in and out of the furnace again and again and again for like hours. So
Incredible.
the staging of shots is like a really painful thing, because
Yeah.
once you start a piece of glass, you have to carry it on.
Yeah.
So a lot
it
of
won't wait for you.
it's not gonna wait for you. Yeah, and it's hard to remelt ready for the camera to be
Yeah.
ready. You know?
Does it does glass spoil if it's overheated or?
No, it doesn't spoil, but like a lot of the times, if you know, I can recognize a stage shot because the thing on the end of the iron is either a bubble that has been blown really quickly, or it's like a sort of lump.
Yeah,
You know, it's
yeah.
hard to maintain a nice shape for a long time. So
Yeah,
if you want
yeah.
to make something properly, you sort of have to go through the system. You can't really hold it static at a specific point. It's very difficult to do that.
We were talking yesterday, and you were mentioning the flow, that you've got to be relaxed.
yeah.
If you're tense, it shows in the glass. And
Yeah.
So that, you're saying about that, keeping that flow going?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So especially with what we're going to be doing later, the flow is vital. You know, if I don't get the bubble inflated and stretched within a couple of moves, which is like a 5-minute period, then it will be a staggered sheet. So you'll get thick, thin, thick, thin, thick, thin, and it won't have that beautiful sort of consistency throughout it, especially when there's a lot of color pulling in different directions.
So is that because the glass is allowed to cool, and then you're putting warmer glass over cooler glass, and you're getting that layering?
Yeah, exactly. It is like a layering. I'm trying to think of like a good analogy, really. But I mean, if you, it's another craft analogy. But if you've seen anyone pulling the handle, a clay handle of a mug, you know, if you keep it smooth, you get this beautiful, elegant shape. But if you're like sort of squeezing and pulling and giving it that sort of, you know, it's almost like a staccato feel. If you do staccato heating, hot, cold, hot, cold, hot, cold, then you don't get a consistent bubble, really.
Yeah. Fantastic. So we're filming the stage called the opening stage, where the cylinders are being flattened down in the kiln before they're put in an annealing chamber overnight.
3, 2, 1. Yep. One way. Yeah. One way. Down a bit. Down. Stop. Down. Stop. Okay. Push it. Obviously, the edges of the hardest bits to get flat because they have no weight to them.
Yeah.
This stage is really important to push down those edges.
Yes.
And then the iron flattens the center completely. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Okay. So I'm pushing down all the edges, and you can see it's a very fast movement. That's it. Go. Yep. Yep. All right. Okay, on there. Yeah, little step now. Flip, go back, gently. Good.
So with all this amazing experience that you're getting with Elliot, are you planning on doing this yourself, this kind of work?
Eventually, yeah. I'd quite like to at least have a go at it anyway, just to see how I fare at it for more than anything else. But yeah, there's only really Elliot in the country at the moment making, so it wouldn't hurt to have two of us.
It's so niche, isn't it? It's such a specialist form of glass blowing, isn't it?
Yeah, so I believe there's only us here. There's sort of 2 or 3 maybe stateside. Lambert's, I believe, do a slightly different method to how we produce it. They're over in Germany.
So that just got a little bit too cold at the back. So we were debating whether we should take it in for an extra heat, which we normally do. I thought the torch would be enough for it, but I think because of the tension in the colour, and maybe it was a little bit thin towards the back, just that tiny little decision has caused the piece to break. So what happened is when it got reintroduced to the heat, the thermal shock just caused it to crack all the way around where the colour started. And the whole thing just comes off. So that it tends to happen closer to the end of a piece than the beginning.
Yeah. Can anything be salvaged of it?
No. We can't even recycle that because it's got all the dirt on it. We don't want to put that back in.
Yeah.
So that'll just go in the that. It doesn't happen very often, but that one's just a wasted piece.
It's a good illustration of how perilous.
That's it. Yeah. So when you're doing it and it goes smoothly, it looks like
effortless.
Yeah. But we're always working, especially with this. We're working on a knife edge.
Yeah, of tolerances.
Yeah, exactly. And it's heat tolerances because it's so thin. I mean, it looks big, it looks substantial, but it's so thin, so delicate. The heat leaves it so quickly. And the heat gets into it so quickly. So the reason why I didn't want to do an extra flash is because I was worried about it crumpling because it was a little bit too hot. But it's microseconds sometimes.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
And it all goes on feeling. Is it feeling?
Yeah, you can't measure it.
Yeah.
So it's the color of the glass. It's how quickly it moves.
Yeah.
But with glass this thin, you don't get any warning really.
Yeah.
It'll either break with no warning, or it'll crumple with no warning.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's another reason why it's difficult.
Yeah.
Sorry, that's the strawberry red there. So you see a lovely color,
Piece of work.
and then that's the saffron.
So, David, what are the challenges of doing a shoot like this?
Well, I think part of the challenge is sometimes knowing too much. So knowing everything that happens outside of the frame makes it hard to shoot for the edit. And what I'm often doing when I'm filming is trying to construct the story as it's happening in front of me. So if I'm filming a scene, for instance, I maybe will start with a wide, and then something closer up, and then some really close up textures, so that the three shot sizes will knit together really neatly in the edit. So I'm often thinking about framing rather than aiming, which I think is a common tendency in filmmaking. You point the camera at anything that looks interesting, and don't stay long enough in one position in order to capture what you need to be able to cut it in the edit.
So there we have it. Hopefully you've enjoyed today, seeing a little bit behind the scenes of filming for this upcoming documentary. Can't wait to show you the whole thing. Elliot has been fantastic. Ryan has been amazing as his assistant. So hopefully it's captured the drama and the excitement and the perils and difficulties of actually making sheet glass. It's a really challenging thing, working at the edge of the tolerances. It was great to see the whole thing, and thanks again so much to Elliot for sharing the whole making process today. Talk to you soon. Bye for now. So there we have it. A little behind the scenes today of what we were filming today from first thing this morning over in Stourbridge. And yeah, it's really looking forward to seeing this final documentary. I'll just put a link up here now for you guys. Now I would love you to follow Lucia's YouTube channel, which is www.youtube.com artistactuality. Yeah, just give her a follow. There's some amazing artist interviews on that. It's a great, very kind of professionally done, really good quality, just great filmmaking, and they've got big ambitions for taking this channel to greater heights. So do give Artist Actuality a follow. Give her some love, because both David and Lucia are doing amazing work. So let's get back to the questions. Another member, Anthony Franco 6132, says, I could use some help in sourcing silver stain and others in the US. Does anyone have a supplier recommendation? So I put out, and I'll do it again, a supplier list that I check on a kind of a weekly basis on the suppliers available in the States, as I do here in Europe. And supplies come in and out of stock. And we're kind of at a low ebb at the moment, because Reusch, who have traditionally been the paint supplier of choice for most of us who are making glass, doing glass painting work, have withdrawn from the market, so they don't make paints anymore. The recipes have been taken over by Fusemaster. Now Fusemaster, I believe, are in the process of making those new paints and stains. So again, it's a case of fishing around to try and find out who has got stock left of yellow silver stain and enamels, etc. Certainly in Europe, there's relatively reasonably good supplies of yellow silver stain. Pele Glass, who are the Netherlands-based company, Pele, which is Peli.eu, Pele.eu. If you go onto their website, you'll find a whole range of enamels and paints and stains, but you've got to pay extra to bring them into America, for example, from Europe. Creative Glass Guild in Bristol are putting together a package of brushes and tools and equipment that I recommend for my new online course, my Enamel Painting 101 course. And as soon as that's ready, I will be promoting that as well, because that's a one-stop shop again where you can buy lots of different paints and stains and enamels from Creative Glass Guild in the UK. In America, you've got Delphi Glass, you have got Pacific Glass, you have got Sunshine Glass, and Ed Hoy's and places like that. If you do a Google search stateside, you'll find glass suppliers. But yeah, they're quite hard to get hold of. Glass painters in America who I'm in contact with, specifically people like Rita Schimmelfarb, who does these amazing courses, these glass painting courses, has started buying Japanese paints and stains in enamels, and she finds it as cost effective to buy all the way from Japan as she does to buy it from what was Reusch. So it's a little bit of a tricky one at the moment, trying to source the right paints and stains and enamels. Nobody is pretending that it's easy, but they are out there, and there are more paints and stains and enamels coming on stream. So Anthony, I know it's not a great answer for sourcing silver stain. There are a variety of suppliers available. Again, after this stream, what I'll do is I'll put links on my Facebook page to the American suppliers that I have seen in the very recent past had stocks of paints or stains or enamels. Whether they still do or not is a moot point. Joanne says, fantastic weather in Surprise, Arizona, 76 degrees, sunny and warm. Lucky you, Joanne. Fantastic. Thank you for that feedback. Just left YouTube again. David says audio lost. I don't know what's going on with YouTube today, David. I really don't. Hello from Brussels, Mariana, hello, another channel member. Welcome. Thank you for joining us all the way from Brussels today. Another YouTube channel member. Thank you so much for your continued support. A big round of applause to all my YouTube channel members. Thank you so much, guys, for being part of this wonderful creative community. All of your sort of support helps. If you're on Facebook, you can leave likes, you can leave stars. I think you can buy some stars. I don't exactly know how it works, but there's the option to buy stars, which sort of gives, it's like giving a tip, a small financial tip to the channel. All these kind of things help with the process of kind of buying more time for me to go and visit more studios and more artists along the way. Right Forth Singing says, I've got some lavender spike oil arriving soon. As I read, it performs better than regular lavender oil. So interested if anyone else here has seen a difference. That's a great question. I don't know what the difference is, Rise Forth Singing, between lavender spike oil and regular pure lavender oil. Can you tell me? Can someone in the chat tell me what the difference is? I'd love to know. I really would love to know. Petri says, I had an interesting inquiry today from a friend who wanted to create a glass memorial incorporating their parents' ashes. Any ideas? I was thinking maybe Elliot. Yes. I think Elliot would be the person to talk to, Petri. And I have seen people incorporating ashes, pets' ashes, in glass before, because the ashes are burnt, so they're not going to be damaged anymore by putting them into some kind of glass, molten glass vessel. Petri, yeah, definitely get in contact with Elliot. Elliot is a wizard at doing things like that, so he's personally probably the guy to talk to first. Hello from Yorkshire, says AD Vision. I'm planning on using some sea glass with normal glass. The thicknesses are different. What do you think, especially letting it up? So Adi Vision, if you're using different thicknesses of glass, you need to use different widths or heights of lead. So you get things called wide heart lead, standard heart lead, and narrow heart lead. That's basically, if you know a lead came, it's like a capital H turned on its side. So you've got a top leaf of lead and a bottom leaf of lead, and in the middle you've got a heart. Now that heart is the thing that can vary in height. So depending on the thickness of glass, you can buy lead with a wide heart lead, which accommodates thicker glass. And basically, you can lead up different thicknesses of glass together. It's quite common, it's quite normal to do, but you need to be able to source some different thicknesses of lead heart. The best thing to do is to get in contact with a glass, one of your leaded suppliers, and ask what ranges of leads they can supply you, standard heart or wide heart lead. That's the term that you need to use in order to find out whether you can source that type of lead to help you with different thicknesses of glass. Back on YouTube, audio back now. David, what on earth is going on? I don't know whether it's just a gremlin with you, whether it's a glitch in the matrix, or whether I don't know what's going on, but yeah, I've been checking, David. I've been checking my analytics on the back end of my YouTube studio page, and it says that the live stream has excellent quality. I can see here it says excellent, but I don't know what's happening. I wish I knew, but I don't know. Petri, right forth singing. I've made several fused pendants with ashes only seen from the back. There we go, Petri. Ride forth singing is perhaps somebody who's going to be able to help you further with that. There we go. That is fantastic. And again, another one. Petri, I have been requested to encapsulate loved ones' ashes in jewelry pieces. My thought was to slump glass over fiberboard to create a well and then encapsulate in a fully fused firing. There we go, Anthony Franco. Francesco 6132, another channel member. Anthony, thank you so much for coming back with that fantastic suggestion. Do the ashes become opaque? Asks Petri. Cheryl May, my first visit from Ontario, Canada. Cheryl, welcome. Thank you for joining us on Facebook today. It's wonderful that you're joining us. It is great that you're part of this wonderful creative community. Welcome on board. I hope to see you as a regular on the live streams. Brilliant. Well done. Thank you for being part of this wonderful community from Ontario, Canada. Amazing. Yeah, the pet's ashes are akin to sand, says Jerry Z. There we go. I thought it would, in other words, thanks so much regarding the paint stains in enamels, Derek. That's brilliant. Clear as a bell. I've taken notes. Fantastic. So glad that description of the difference between paints and stains in enamels has been helpful. I can email you a picture and info, says Ride Forth Singing to Petri. Wonderful. And Original Pals all the way from Switzerland says, Derek, this was the best explanation of the differences between glass stains, enamels and paints ever. Could you please do this as a separate video sometime? What a great suggestion. Yes, I will. I mean, yes, I will kind of reiterate this in a longer form video. Thank you so much for that. That is a really good suggestion, because I think people do wonder what on earth the difference is between a stain and a paint and an enamel. So yeah, I will do a long form video explaining the differences. Thank you so much for that. I'm always looking to get suggestions for new content for my YouTube channel. Whatever I post on my YouTube channel usually ends up going over to Facebook as well, but YouTube is my baby. That's the one where I try and put the first content and the most kind of developed content, and there's a lot of extra content that goes out for my channel members exclusively, for my YouTube channel members, that doesn't really appear on Facebook as well. Anthony says, I haven't done it yet, but my thought is yes, they would be opaque since they are already reduced to carbon. So if you're new to this chat stream, it is talking about incorporating encapsulating ashes within some glass features, whether it's jewelry or stained glass. Out ice fishing. Adam, out ice fishing today. How amazing. Isn't it fantastic? So you're listening to us as a podcast while you're out ice fishing? That's absolutely brilliant. David Elliot says, what is a recommended recipe mix for tracing paint with oil proportions for a dipping pen? Thanks. 2 parts clove oil, 1 part lavender oil, 10 milliliters of paint, 10 milliliters of clove oil, 5 milliliters of lavender oil. Mix thoroughly, leave for at least 24 hours in an airtight jar, then mix up and agitate again and try with your dipping pen to see whether the lines begin to flow. You might have to tinker with it, David, for a little bit, usually a couple of days of tinkering with it in order to get that line to flow really well. But that is your dipping pen recipe. I'm in a pop-up tent. The mind boggles, Adam. You're in a pop-up tent ice fishing. This is just brilliant. I'm getting visions. I'm getting visions of you kind of like sitting over a little Eskimo well with your rod kind of dipping into this hole in the ice. It's probably nothing like that. But yeah, amazing that you're joining us in a pop-up tent while ice fishing today, Adam. Brilliant. I love it. I absolutely love it. Central Illinois is only a few hours from me, says Brian. Anyone tried Royce? The new Royce yet? Yeah, great question. I'm not sure whether the new Royce is available, made by Fusemaster. I don't know that it's on the market yet, but it would be great to hear if anybody has tried it. Jane says, hi Derek. Hi Jane, welcome to the live stream. Fantastic that you're joining us today. Mel says, I've done a trial run and I've learned a lot. So this is an answer to a question that I asked Mel earlier on in the live stream. Mel is putting together some courses, some in-person courses where she's teaching stained glass making, specifically to rural communities, if I got that right, Mel. And she's bringing in conversations about mental health and the fact that working with your hands is really good kind of for your mental health, helping people with loneliness if they're living in rural areas and maybe they're not getting kind of to mix with other people so much. So she's bringing these craft skills to these rural communities and she's developing these skills. So well done, Mel. You've done some trial runs already and you're learning a lot. That's fantastic. Do keep us informed as to how that whole thing develops. That would be absolutely wonderful. Ride Forth Singing, yes please. Yeah, I think Petrie's asking you to send him that email, some photographs, etc. And Adam says, can you use any black light or does it have to be a shortwave length? Shortwave light for tinside detections are really expensive. So as far as I know, the UV light is, I don't know. I mean, I don't know what's the difference between a shortwave UV light and a longwave UV light? I suppose it stops being UV if it changes its frequency too much, because infrared light is much longer, isn't it, than ultraviolet? Ultraviolet is the short wavelength and infrared is the long wavelength, if I've got that right. I don't know. It's beyond my pay grade, Adam, to tell you the answer to that. I just know that I bought a UV lamp from an online, I think it came from China. I did a Google search to find an online lamp, and it's a relatively small device like this. It cost about $30, something like that. It took a little while to arrive because it was coming all the way from China, but it does work. You just plug it into your home socket and it lights up. Obviously you don't look into the light because UV light is very bad for your eyes. Make sure you're not looking into it directly, and use it on the tin side or the non-tin side of glass, and it does work. But whether it's a longer or a short wave, I can't answer that one, Adam. Maybe somebody else. Petri is usually pretty good on scientific questions. He might be able to drop in to the chat and answer that one. Greenhouse glass is good for that. Yeah, greenhouse glass is known as horticultural glass here in the UK, and it's the cheapest form of clear glass, and it does have a tin side and a non-tin side. Perfect. Thank you regarding the torch. You're welcome, Jerry Z. You're very welcome. Melinda Matthews has sent some stars. Have you sent a star? That is fantastic, from Facebook. Thank you, Melinda. Thank you so much. I don't quite know how that works, but you can send stars on Facebook. And guys, if you're enjoying this live stream, do hit that like button. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. If you're watching this live stream, please subscribe, because it really helps us get this information out to as many creatives around the world as possible. We're interested in passing on good quality advice and help and inspirational videos and tutorials to the worldwide creative community. So hitting that like button, subscribing to the channel, those kind of things just tell the big kind of algorithm in the sky that we have this amazing creative community. Vaughn says, I should have said I'm making the Porsche with copper foil. So you're making a green Porsche car, your first commission with copper foil. Congratulations. Keep it up. Keep it up. Do let us know, Vaughn, how you get on with this amazing new commission to create a Porsche car out of copper foil. Janice says, I have a UV light and I can't tell the difference on my float glass. Okay. So, Janice, it does work. Couple of variables. One is that the glass might not have a tin side or a non-tin side. That might be the problem, because not all glasses they look like clear float glass, but they might not have a tin side or a non-tin side. Some glasses, especially if it's a picture framing glass, are sort of museum quality glass, and they have a kind of a coating on them which stops the reflections and stops UV light getting through, and it doesn't actually have a tin side. So it might be that, or it might be that your UV light isn't quite strong enough. Don't know why it's not working, Janice. It is the most reliable way that I have found of discovering which is the tin side and the non-tin side. You can use the water drip technique, but we won't even go into that because I don't really find that particularly useful. I'm sorry, Janice, that it's sad that you cannot find the tin side and the non-tin side. Try another type of glass. Make sure you're in as dark an area as you can, and then just play that UV light across the surface of the glass. You may just see a little bit of a milkiness on one side rather than the other. But it does work, but there are a couple of variables. One is the type of glass, and one is maybe the UV light not being quite strong enough. Sorry, I can't be more forthcoming with help on that one, Janice. Jerry says, take care, everyone. See you next week. Jerry Z, see you next week. I know you can't stay for the whole live stream, but it's fantastic that you were joining us today. Thank you so much. Mel says, I can't work with lavender oil for long. It makes me sleepy. Yeah, sometimes it gives people headaches. It's pretty pungent, isn't it? It's quite strong. The lavender oil and the clove oil. It doesn't work for everybody. You know, some people do find it a little bit too overpowering. Addy Vision says, thanks for the info. I'll investigate. Elliot Walker is one of a kind. Blowfish, yes. Blowfish glass. So if you look on Instagram, type in Blowfish Gallery, I think it is, you'll find Bethany, Elliot's partner, who works with Elliot. They work together at Blowfish Glass over in Stourbridge. Yeah, a fantastic couple, and making amazing work. HM Fan 2010. That is the strangest thing I've ever seen and heard. I wonder if one could make a musical instrument out of a series of those. Yeah, I'm sure you could. Called a flip-flop. Can you see the diaphragm flexing slightly? Amazing. Yeah. Wouldn't be interesting to make a series of, if you could tune it to make notes, you could actually have a kind of a little musical band of flip-flops playing together. During this broadcast, you can support my page by sending stars, a digital gift that helps me earn money. That's on my Facebook page. I don't know how it works, but you can send me stars, which would be, stars in their eyes. It would be fantastic. Melinda Matthews sent another 99-cent stars. Thank you so much, Melinda. Really, really appreciate those stars that you're sending to me. Thank you so much. I really, really appreciate it. You over on Facebook sending them through. Adam says, can you use any black light, or does it have to be a shortwave length? Shortwave lights for tin side are really expensive. Yeah, not sure, Adam. I can't answer that question. Anybody try the new Reusch yet? Yeah, am I reading over things I've read before. David, oh my goodness, David, who we featured on the video earlier on, is one of the amazing couple who are making this documentary together. So David is jumping on the live stream saying, I simply couldn't miss this week's live stream. You're an absolute powerhouse, a brilliant advocate for stained glass and a wonderful storyteller. Filming with you, Elliot and Ryan today was joyful. David, thank you so much. Thank you so much. It was joyful working with you and Lucia today as well. Great to spend time with you, and your commitment to crafts and to telling that craft story is just an absolute godsend for this creative community. So it was a real pleasure working with you today. So this is David Jack Fenton, everyone. David is the one of the 2 documentary filmmakers who I've been working with. I'm amazed at how you turned this lovely video around in such a short space of time. Huge respect. Yeah, we were working together today until about 2:30 over in Stourbridge, and then I jumped in the van and came back and edited that down. But that is just a kind of like a behind the scenes. The proper documentary will be much more involved and involve lots more people. But that was just a little behind the scenes for you guys today. Great video, very interesting. What a skill that is. It is absolutely, Vaughn, an amazing skill. And Mel says, I have a new commission that I'm using Elliot's glass. How brilliant, Mel. You're using Elliot Walker's handmade antique glass. That is so good to hear. Yeah, I would really encourage you guys to support Elliot because he is supporting us, and he's really kind of throwing himself into making the most incredible handmade sheet glass. Moxom 3854, great show. I finished an 80-hour panel with glass and cane this week. That is fantastic. Moxom 3854, welcome to the live stream. I'm so glad you're part of this live stream, Moxam. You do jump on from time to time. I see you jumping on the live stream. Welcome on board today. It is absolutely brilliant. And Original Pell says, can anybody explain this extreme excitement that fills my heart while watching such things? I know, it's exciting, isn't it, watching this amazing glass being made. Relax. Is it true that you are 63 years old? No, I'm 64. I'm 64 years old, so it's not true. You're 1 year out. Does not know. One does not ask this. That's fine. I don't mind. It doesn't bother me one bit. It's a privilege to get older. My God, one of my dear friends who worked with me for 15 years died at the age of 34. So, if you can live to 64. It's a privilege, I tell you, an absolute privilege. Late to the chat says the Besto Project. Late to the chat today, I'm going back and watching the beginning. I remember Elliot from Blown Away. Yeah, Series 2 Netflix. The winner of Series 2 Blown Away was Elliot Walker. So Besto's Project. Yeah, you're in for a treat. If you haven't seen that behind the scenes today, we just filmed it earlier on today and we brought it to you guys first ever to see that stream was you guys on the live stream here on YouTube and on Face. Delphi is very close to my house, says Moxam 3854. Yeah, brilliant. Well, give us a shout back when you come back on the stream in a week or so's time and let us know, Moxam 3854, what their stocks are like of enamels and paints and stains. I would really like to know. Karen says, Buonasera. Buonasera to you too. It is wonderful that you are joining the live stream today. Karen, ciao. Buonasera. Buonasera to you too. Fantastic that you're joining us on this stream. Crystal blue. And very soon, glass emotions and a yellow that isn't a stain. Brilliant. Crystal blue. Thank you so much for letting us know. Glass Emotions is the Canadian company that makes Rogue enamels. Now, Crystal Blue is making a new set of enamels, paints, and stains. So, a yellow that isn't a stain very soon. That is great news. So guys, there are more suppliers coming into the market, including Crystal Blue of Glass Emotions, providing this amazing creative community with paints and stains and enamels. Specifically, I think in this case with Crystal, it is transparent colored enamels. More to follow when Crystal gives us more information, but that's fantastic. Crystal Blue on Facebook letting us know, bringing us up to speed. It's really great to hear. You know I'm going to publicize it. You know I'm going to tell the world about it once you're ready to tell the world yourself, once you've settled on exactly what it is you want to offer everyone. But really, really excited. David Elliot says, excuse my ignorance, but I'm a bit confused by buying enamels. Why not just mix any fine glass powder with a carrier? Why not indeed? Experiment. I mean, I have glass artist friends of mine who are experimenting with making their own paints and stains in enamels. Petri, who might still be on the live stream, makes his own amazing steel wool stain made with steel wool and vinegar. He's featured on this channel before. Charlotte Saville, who runs LED Light Studio over on Instagram and Facebook, has been experimenting with iron oxide paints as well. So David, you're not, excuse your ignorance, there's no ignorance there at all. It's a great suggestion. Try experimenting with ground down colored glass. Mix it into as fine a powder as you can. Mix it with a carrying agent. Apply it to the glass and fire it in the kiln. You never know. You might be the next supplier of a range of paints and stains and enamels. Yeah, let's experiment. Ellen Van Dyke uses it for her painting. It's sold as a paint medium and a solvent, the spike version. Okay, so that is the spike version of lavender oil, spike oil. Yeah, brilliant. I'll have to look into that. So Ellen Van Dyke is an amazing Netherlands glass artist. Absolutely outstanding work. So I will look into that more. Thank you so much for that ride forth singing. Really appreciate it. Alexander Taylor says it does have to be on the short wave. I tried another one that we had and no longer, and no, the longer wavelength worked. It does have to be the short wavelength. I tried another one that we have and no, the longer wavelength work, and no to the longer wavelength. I suppose that means that, yeah, it has to be a shortwave UV light. Okay, thank you for that. I don't know enough about UV light to know the difference. And Vaughn says, my YouTube feed has been perfect from the start. Thank you, Vaughn. Really appreciate that. I don't quite know what happened with David Elliott's feed on YouTube, that it cut out, the audio came back. Gremlins, I think, are getting the better of that particular feed there. But yeah, thank you for letting me know. It seems like most people are able to watch the YouTube version absolutely fine. And Marianne says, waiting for my first books, The History of Stained Glass, Virginia Cheffel, Regun, and The Rose Windows, Paint and Cowl. Yeah, brilliant, Marianne. Yeah, the Paint and Cowl Cowan book is, I mean, I've got some other books by Paint and Cowl, and yeah, absolutely fantastic. Yeah, they're great. Isn't it wonderful? I dip into my books every now and again for a little bit of inspiration. Alexandra Taylor, Alex from Dallas, Texas. Alexandra, welcome all the way from Texas. How are you doing? It's great that you're joining us on the stream today, and you're on Facebook. Fantastic. And another Facebook entry from Crystal says, ashes encased in fused glass is basically an inclusion and must be treated with care. I've done it, but bubbles can form, so a good long bubble squeeze is necessary. They generally do not change color again and use small amounts. Great input from Crystal. I don't know what the bubble squeeze is. It's not something that I do, but yeah. Petri, if you're still on the live stream, you need to do a bubble squeeze. Good luck with that bubble squeeze. I have no idea how you do it, but that is great advice from Crystal to help you along the way when you're encasing ashes into glass. And Chris Dis says hello from Austria. Chris, hello to you too, Austria. Fantastic. Welcome to the live stream today. It's great to see you here. And Corey James Blackwell says, what do you think of the new regs coming in for working lead levels? Yeah, I don't quite know what the working lead level regs are. I know it was up for debate, and you know there's been a lot of consultation about the whole thing, Corey, but I don't quite know what the new regs are and where we are with that. So do let me know in chat if there's an update on that, because obviously we're all very keen to know. what those regulations are and what they should be. Mel says, spike lavender is rich in camphor and oil, while true lavender is low in these and high in linalool and linoline acetate. Oh, Mel, fantastic answer. Spike. So there's a big difference between spike lavender, it's rich in camphor, and regular true lavender oil is low in these and high in linoleum acetate. Yeah, so there is a difference. I will have to experiment with the spiked version of lavender oil to find out if it's any better. If Ellen is using it, then I'm presuming that it is a better product. So thank you so much for that, guys. I'm here to learn as well. You know, I am definitely here to learn from you guys too. Ride Forth Singing says, someone yesterday on another group said they had tried the new Reusch and found no difference from the old as they are following the shilling recipes. That's brilliant. If it's already coming out, if the new Reusch is coming out to market, that's news to me because I haven't seen it yet. And if it's coming, especially stateside, if it's available stateside, that is fantastic to know. Ride Forth Singing. I will have to find out more about that. Petri says, Angie, yes, it has to be the shortwave UV. Okay, brilliant. So again, I'm learning about my UVs today. I didn't know the difference. So shortwave UV is the right kind of UV light that you need to buy. C. Brooms 2007 took a break from making a chess set and so alive. Good to see everyone here. We'll get back and watch the beginning later. C. Broom 2007, fantastic. You took a break from making a chess set. Yeah, welcome to the live. Again, a channel member. It's brilliant that you're joining us today. Yeah, you can always rewind. You can always go back either on YouTube or on Facebook and watch the whole stream from the beginning. We did play a video earlier on, which you may have missed. Now, Facebook takes down the live stream after a month. So you've got a month to rewatch this live stream on Facebook, but you've got many, many more months to watch the YouTube version. As far as I know, they're not going to take the YouTube live streams down at all. So that will be available for you guys to watch whenever you want to. If you've only come in halfway through this stream today, whereabouts in the country are you based? Mel Pope 60, Mel Pope 675. Mel is based in the UK in Leicestershire. Is based in Leicestershire. Petri says 254 nanowave wavelength UV will show the tin side. Petri, thank you so much for that. Petri is our scientific big brain on this live stream. He very often comes up with just solid gold answers. So there we have another solid gold answer from Petri. 254 nanometers, is it? NM wavelength UV will show the tin side of float glass. Crystal Blue says tin, non-tin. I also use the water droplet test. Yeah, we have used the water droplet test, Crystal, but it's kind of somewhat difficult, I find, to kind of gauge that one right. I find the UV light to be better, but you know, each to their own. And Anthony says there is a deep UV wavelength, which is a subset of UV. Deep UV is primarily used for sterilizing items. UVA and UVB should be enough. Deep UV is UVC. My lord. Thank you, Anthony. That is great. I had no idea. UVA, UVB, or UVC, different forms of UV light. I never knew glass had a tin side. And what does the tin side mean? Basically, when float glass was created in, I think, the 1950s, something like that, it was a way of creating flat glass on an industrial scale. And basically, there'd be a long corridor of molten tin, a tin bed, onto which they would float molten clear glass. And the glass would be a specific thickness, and it would move along at a specific speed. And when it comes off the other end, you'd have a very flat underside, which would be in contact with the tin. And the underside of the glass in contact with the tin would have a tin deposit on it. And the top side of the float glass would not have a tin side on it. So basically, float glass, industrial made float glass, I think from the 1950s onwards, Usually it's floated across a bed of molten tin and has a tin side and a non-tin side. That is important only if you're using stain, yellow silver stain, or red, copper red glass. UV runs from 100 to 400 nanometers. I'm not exactly sure what the NM stands for. Originalized Pelez says, how do you guys handle the contaminated water from your glass grinder? Yeah, bag it up. If you can bag it up, don't put it down your sink. It's not good for the waterways. It's not good for your sink. You'll leave deposits in your sink as well. So wear a mask as well, because you don't want to be inhaling any of that dust when you're taking out of the grinder bed, and bag it up and put it in with your industrial waste, because it is, yeah, you know, if it's in dust form, if it's in dried dust form, it is not at all good for you. So that's what would be my suggestion. Do treat it with respect. I'm sure you will. Crystal says, I don't manufacture enamels, I source and test and sell. Dove is the manufacturer of the opaque line. So Crystal has clarified that she doesn't manufacture enamels, but she sources and tests them and sells them. Dove is the manufacturer. Yeah, Dove Enamels here in the UK still has a great range of transparent and opaque enamels available. Alexander Taylor says shortwave is 254 nm. Absolutely brilliant. If experimenting making enamels, look into glaze recipes that potters use. It's quite a science. Oh, Crystal, fantastic suggestions. Fantastic suggestions. UV range from 100 to 400 nanometers. That's what it stands for. Nanometers. UVA 315 to 400 nanometers. And UVB 280 to 315. Wow. Amazing, guys. Amazing. Yeah, Mel says she's in Leicester. She is in Leicester. Thunderwood Underwood. Mel is based in Leicester. Yeah. So guys, look, what time is it now? It is now 10 o'clock. We've been going since 8:30. If you have any more questions, I will spend the next couple of minutes answering your questions. Otherwise, we will wrap up today's live stream. It's been fantastic. You guys have been so active on the stream today. It's been absolutely brilliant. Remember to leave a like, to subscribe to the YouTube channel, to, you know, leave a like on Facebook as well. It just tells the algorithms that we have a creative community out there. You know, and I will give you more information when I can about this amazing documentary. David, let me just see if I can find that. Oh yeah. No, I'm reading all the links there. So guys, look, thank you so much for all of your wonderful contributions to the live stream this week. Check out this Facebook page, this YouTube channel, which is Artist Actuality, which is an amazing YouTube channel that Lucia runs. And she does filming with David, creating these amazing documentaries on glass, on artists of all sorts, creative artists of all sorts. And when I have more information to tell you guys about the documentary, I will pass it on to you. But I thought it'd be fun to just give you a little bit of a behind the scenes on what we were working on today. Thank you guys so much for all of your support. Thank you for your encouragement and for your support of the channel. Thank you to everybody who's been on the stream today, whether it's on Facebook or on live stream. I'm going to leave you guys with a little roundup of the Big Hole Challenge, which is still running. So if you fancy doing the Big Hole Challenge, hit me up on Instagram, send me a video, and I'll repost it for you. Love you guys. Talk to you next Tuesday. Bye for now. You'll know about the Star Challenge. Now, the Star Challenge is really taken off on social media with other glass creators joining in on the Star Challenge, trying to cut a glass star, a 5-pointed glass star out of a clear piece of glass. Just cheap, the cheapest glass available for a bit of fun, really. And the challenge was given to me to actually create a new challenge, which is the we're kind of wondering what to call it. Maybe you can help me and give me a suggestion for a title, but Big Hole Challenge or the Circle Challenge. What do you think? We're not actually cutting a circle, we're cutting a hole in the glass.
3, 2, 1, talk to me.
Okay.
Talk to me.
Okay.
Remember, always wear goggles and gloves when you're trying this challenge.
Okay.
Have fun.